LLMNR poisoning. LLMNR poisoning is a critical vulnerability that serves as the easiest entry point into Active Directory environment. In this discussion, we will shed light on the concepts of LLMNR poisoning and its alarming potential to provide direct domain admin paths to malicious actors. By exploiting this method, attackers can bypass traditional security measures and gain unprecedented control over an Active Directory infrastructure. Let us dive into LLMNR. LLMNR stands for Link Local Multicast Name Resolution. It is a protocol used in Windows operating system for name resolution in scenarios where the traditional DNS domain name system fails. LLMNR allows devices within the same subnet to quickly resolve to host names of other devices without needing to resort to DNS servers. LLMNR is activated when a device attempts to resolve a host name by broadcasting an LLMNR query as a multicast message across the network. Any device that matchup can respond with their IP addresses corresponding to those requested host name, thus enabling local name resolution without using an authoritative DNS server. When LLMNR is enabled on a device, it listens for LLMNR queries on UDP port 5355. If a query is received for which the device has a matching host name, it responds with its IP address. This process allows devices to communicate and resolve names within a local network even if the traditional DNS infrastructure is not available. Moving on to LLMNR poisoning. LLMNR poisoning, also known as LLMNR spoofing or NBT-NS poisoning, is a typical network attack that exploits the link local multicast name resolution protocol. It occurs when an attacker intercepts LLMNR queries and responds with their own malicious information. The goal of LLMNR poisoning is to redirect network traffic and trick devices into communicating with the attacker-controlled machine instead of legitimate devices they intended to reach. By responding to LLMNR queries with false information, the attacker can effectively impersonate a trusted device on the network. When a device sends an LLMNR query to resolve a host name, an attacker with network visibility can capture and respond to that query before the legitimate device does. The attacker can then provide their own IP address in response, effectively directing traffic to their machine. Next, let's gain an understanding about Responder. Responder is a powerful tool commonly used in network attacks, including LLMNR poisoning. It is specifically designed to capture and spoof LLMNR as well as NetBIOS name service and MDNS queries. When deployed on a network, Responder passively listens for LLMNR, NBNS, and MDNS queries by devices. Once it detects a query, Responder can quickly craft a response with falsified information such as a spoofed IP address or host name. This response is then sent back to the requesting device before the legitimate response is received, redirecting network traffic towards the attacker-controlled machine. Once a device interacts with the spoofed response, the attacker can intercept and manipulate network communications, potentially leading to unauthorized access, data theft, or malicious activities, the common of which is captured hashes. Practical. Let us look at a practical example. Let us fire up Kali machine and run Responder. Responder comes pre-installed in Kali. We will run it in its default configuration. The command to run Responder is responder-i eth0 or your network interface name. Responder needs to run as root to start capturing traffic. Ensure that Kali is in the same lab subnet as our other machines. To capture the hashes, we will need to ensure that SMB and HTTP servers are turned on, which is the default setting of Responder. We would also need our test machine running. If all goes well, we can see that in about a minute, Responder has captured captured the NTLM v2 hash of domain admin Al Pacino. This user had tried to access a shared network that was not available, share.local, thereby resorting to LLMNR, which responder had poisoned to route to the Kali machine, which would then prompted user for authentication. We can also try manually triggering LLMNR by going to the file explorer in the test machine and accessing the same share //share. Going back to the responder, we can see that our pentester's hashes has also been captured. Let us try cracking the captured hash of Al Pacino hash using John the Ripper, which is a password cracking tool. Stop responder and copy the captured hash and save it to a file. We can do this through nano by running nano al.pacino.hash. Now paste the hash in save and close the file using Ctrl+X hotkey. Input Y to save. We will use the ROQ word list, which comes pre-installed in Kali, to try to crack the hash. Let us unzip it first, if not done already, by running zzip-d and entering the path of the zipped word list, that is user share wordlist roq.txt.gzip. Now we will attempt to crack the file by running the command John, specifying the word list, which is user share wordlist roq.txt, and specifying the hash file at the end. Unfortunately, we can see that John did not crack the password. Don't worry, we have another strategy available where we can attempt to dive deeper into the domain. We can do this by relaying the captured credential to another host, here to our domain controller. Relaying is another technique often employed alongside LLMNR poisoning. Attackers can relay the captured credentials from one target to another, taking advantage of the trust relationship established between devices. This technique enables attacker to gain elevated privileges and access network resources without authorization, potentially endangering Active Directory infrastructure as a whole. Here, we would perform an assembly relay to relay the captured NTLM v2 hash to target host using the NTLM relay X Python script available in the impacted library, which comes pre-installed in Kali. By default, after a successful authentication from a host, NTLM relay X dumps the local hashes from the SAM file of that host, provided that the authenticated user has the sufficient privileges. To perform a successful SMB relay, we need the host to have SMB signing disabled. SMB signing is the integral component of server message block SMB protocol, which ensures packet integrity and authenticity during exchanges between systems. Enabling SMB signing allows clients and servers to authenticate each other by digitally signing SMB packet, ensuring the communication remains safe in transit. When SMB signing is disabled on a target system, attackers can intercept and manipulate SMB packets without detection, making hash relaying attacks easier to execute. So prior to relaying, we need to check if the target, that is the DC, has SMB signing disabled. For that, we will use crackmap.exec. Crackmap.exec or CME is a powerful open source tool for penetration testing and security assessment in Windows Active Directory environments. It comes pre-installed in Kali and offers a wide variety of features, including credential brute forcing, pass the hash attacks, lateral movement, and information gathering. We will explore all this functionality in a later module. we will use it to identify the domain controller has SMB signing disabled. Run the following command: crack map exec SMB, then the IP address of the target, that is 10.0.2.7-u, and the username -p and the password. Here we can see that the DC has SMB signing disabled. Note that SMB signing is intentionally disabled in our DC. In a real-world scenario, SMB signing is enabled by default on a domain controller. In a real-world scenario where there are multiple hosts, we can use the domain user credential to scan the network subnet for those hosts that has SMB signing disabled. This can be run using crackmap exec with the flag -gen relay list. These hosts can then be passed on to NTLM relay X. Here, since we have only one active host, our DC, we can directly relay to it. To relay the capture credentials, we need to turn off SMB and HTTP servers in responder. For that, we will use nano with root privileges and open the configuration file located in etc/responder/responder.conf. Change the value of SMB and HTTP to off. Then save and close the file. Once done, let us start responder by running responder-i with 0. While that is running, open another tab using Ctrl+T hotkey and then start the relay by running impacket -NTLM relay X-T for the target IP, that is 10.0.2.7 with the flag SMB to support. After a while, we can see that the NTLM v2 hash of the user LP chino, which was captured by the responder by repoisoning, gets passed to the NTLM relay X, which then relays it to the DC. Since it is the hash of a domain admin, we can see that NTLM relay X dumps the SAM hashes of domain controller. Let us save these hashes in our notes to be used later on. These local hashes can be spread across the domain, which might be reused in another host, thereby obtaining access to additional systems in the domain. This technique will be discussed in a later module. Mitigation. Now that we have understood the risks associated with LLMNR poisoning, let's discuss some mitigation strategies to enhance network security. To mitigate the risk posed by LLMNR poisoning and related techniques, organizations should consider implementing the following best practices. First and foremost, disabling LLMNR across the network reduces the attack surface. Additionally, deploying DNSSEC helps ensure the authenticity and integrity of DNS responses, strengthening overall security. Using virtual private networks and encryption protocols such as SSL/TLS adds an extra layer of protection, safeguarding against eavesdropping and unauthorized access. SMB signing should be enabled across all hosts to prevent relaying of captured credentials.